Yo, what's going on, boys? And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my story, okay? How I started trading, how it was that I even got to the point where I am today to be able to afford a car like this. I'm gonna go over everything, okay? So let's start back in the summer of 2022. I was making Fortnite content, okay? I came from the Fortnite content scene. I was making like skit videos with a bunch of my friends. I would even help out like some of the bigger Fortnite creators. So you may have unironically, if you watched Fortnite content back in the day, you may have unironically seen a video that I was in. I also had a TikTok that I grew to probably 100,000 followers in like 3 months. And from that TikTok, that is where I saw my first bit of online money. I had a supporter credit code at the time, and it was code Bing, so you can probably still use it in the Fortnite item shop today. But what I would do is I would put my supporter credit code in those videos, and kids, would use my code to buy things in the Fortnite item shop, and I made my first bit of online money doing so. I probably made around close to $5,000 from supporter credit code in total, and so that is when I first got introduced to NFTs and crypto. My friend, who was also, again, in the Fortnite space, introduced me to it and kind of showed me everything that I needed in order to get started. So what we would do, and pretty much everyone in the Fortnite scene at the time was doing this, is we were promoting NFT projects, okay? We would basically get paid to make tweets about certain projects, and bro, at the time it was popping. Literally everybody knew every promoter, and we were promoting NFT projects to make lots of money, bro. We were like actually making a crazy amount of money at the time, and that's kind of also when I got introduced to crypto and actually buying and selling my own NFTs. What I would do is I would buy the NFTs on the floor and like sell them for like a little bit above the floor price, and usually like the people who are selling on the floor anyway are pretty desperate, so like it was easy to make quick flips. Doing that on top of the promotions made me a lot of money, okay? At the time, this was when Ethereum was like the closest it's ever been to $5,000. However, at the time, this was my junior year of high school, and because this NFT and crypto bullshit took so much time, I was missing a ton of school. I was basically sending DMs all day, contacting different projects, and it was genuinely time consuming. And so because of this, I would miss school, wasn't doing any of my homework. Bro, I promise you, at the time I probably had all Fs. Like, that's not a hyperbole. Maybe I had like a B or a C in gym, but I probably had all Fs. And once I like started making like tens of thousands of dollars, like it began to get like really serious. At this point, I was missing like weeks of school at a time, and they basically forced me to drop out. Basically, they said if I don't, get my grades up by the time the semester is over, which was literally it was probably 2 weeks, and I had probably tens of missing assignments in each class, they were going to hold me back, which is completely reasonable. Like, I'm not blaming my high school for that. I was genuinely a terrible student, but basically my thought process was, okay, why would I want to get held back, right? So what I did was I dropped out and I finished the school year online. However, because I went online, I had to redo the semester and do the next semester on top of that. So in order for me to come back senior year, I had to do an entire year's worth of schoolwork from like February going to the start of the new school year, so like August. And so that means summer school. And so I was still doing NFTs and crypto at the time. Everything was doing really well until the Russia and Ukraine war started. ETH literally got down to sub 4 figures, and thankfully I didn't have all my money in ETH, but I lost a good amount of money from it. I eventually said, okay, I'm up pretty good from doing all this. I'm just gonna take my win, I'm gonna stop, and it's time for me to actually lock in with school. Again, I had to do an entire year's worth of schoolwork in like 5 months over the summer. Now around early 2023 is when I discovered trading through TikTok, and I did what everyone else does, and I joined an options signal group. The first month was genuinely insane. I probably made like $5,000 literally just copying this dude's signals. However, literally 2 weeks in, like I said, I made like $5,000, but before the month was even over, I ended up losing that $5,000, and I ended up being down $35,000 lifetime on my Robinhood. I lost all of that $5,000, and I just kept depositing and depositing and depositing, thinking I would make my losses back, going in heavier on certain trades. Literally had no risk management, didn't even know what it was, didn't have any psychology, was literally just banking on this guy making the right calls when it comes to trading. And it turns out that the person that was running the signal group was stealing his signals from someone else. But anyway, so I lost $35,000. I will put a screenshot on screen of my Robinhood all-time balance. By the way, I'm gonna put like screenshots on screen so you guys can kind of visualize what I'm talking about. But at this point in my life, man, like I was so depressed. It's not like I was broke, but I was like, I had nothing going for me, man. You guys have to realize, bro, I was fat. Number one, I was like 230 pounds. I'm not the tallest guy. I'm like 5'9", 5'10". And so I was 230 pounds. I had no plan B. I was literally, bro, Before I started trading, it was literally NFTs and crypto. Like, I genuinely thought that was gonna last my entire life. But once the Russia-Ukraine war started, like, everyone quit. And so once I discovered trading and like once I made that $5,000, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be my life. But then I lost that very quickly, like I said, and reality began to set in, okay? And once again, no backup plan. It's not like I was planning on going to college. Again, I was failing school. Guys, I probably graduated with like a 1.3 or like, I don't think I graduated with higher than a 2.0 GPA. I'm not even kidding. If I can find a picture of like my Skyward or my Canvas, I'll put it on screen. And I'm not saying this, by the way, like to brag, because like it is genuinely embarrassing, like how bad I was in school. And also, like, I don't want this video to come across as like I'm flexing on you guys, or I'm trying to show you everything I have. This video should make you angry. Like, the whole purpose of this video should make you want to start today. Like, this video should drive you to chase your dreams and just what everyone else says. Because genuinely, at the time when I was trading, I was telling my friends, bro, when I came back the next senior year, bro, all of my teachers were literally telling me. I had this one teacher that told me, that I would literally amount to nothing in life. This teacher, like, for some reason had such a huge grudge against me, and he would always pick on me during class. I'm not trying to play the victim, but like, he genuinely hated me. And so again, like back to the point, like, after being $35,000 in debt to trading, I had realized that, okay, it's time for me to take a step back and actually lock in, okay? It's time for me to figure it out myself instead of relying on someone else. I'm going to find a strategy. I'm going to learn how to actually properly manage risk and just learn how to trade in general. And so by the time summer school was over, thankfully I did end up finishing it all. It was online, so like it wasn't, the hardest thing to navigate. But thankfully they let me back in for my senior year, my in-person school. I registered late, but they did let me come back. And at this point, I was actually starting to see some pretty decent results trading. My psychology was getting a lot better. I was, my risk management while in trades was way better. At the time, I was still trading options. I realized that with a profitable system, losses are okay. And now we're probably at, late 2023, and I ended up making the best, but also one of the worst financial decisions of my life. And I bought a 2022 Audi RS3 in cash. And the reason it was the best decision is because it was a constant motivator for me to never break my plan. And it was a motivator for me, knowing that, if I go against my system, this isn't gonna work out, and I'm not gonna have this car for very long because I'm not gonna be able to afford it. That constant motivator for me always pushed me to go further than what I was willing to do. But this is where I kind of started to get stupid with my money. And I say it was one of the worst decisions because it invoked a lot of terrible spending habits. It also started to become a liability, which you guys will hear about later on in this video. Fast forward a little bit to the end of December, where I finally had my first $5,000 month within trading. It was a really good month for me, and ironically, it was the month that I had finally made back everything that I had lost on Robinhood. So I was net even on trading. However, 2024 was genuinely the year that changed my life. I continued scaling within trading, still trading options. The Biden markets were a legit cheat code. I'm sure if you guys, are just now trading, you probably heard about the Biden markets, bro. It was genuinely so easy. I was able to upgrade my RS3. I got intakes, I got an exhaust, carbon all around. I genuinely had the best looking RS3 ever. But not everything was sunshines and rainbows, because I ended up hitting 2 deer in the span of 3 months in my RS3. I needed so many repairs, and I paid out of pocket for literally everything because I didn't want my insurance to go up. So because of that, I bought my second car, which was a 2023 Toyota GR86. It was such a great driving experience. I genuinely loved that car. I also got a pop tune for it. My trading was going better than ever. I ended up making my first 6 figures by the end of the year in 2024. But guys, like, half of the struggles within trading is seriously just sitting back, putting your ignorance aside, and realizing that you're not bigger than the program, okay? You're not gonna cheat your way into 5-figure months, okay? It's not going to come easy. It's not going to come without some sort of loss first. I lost $35,000 of my own money, and that put tremendous pressure on myself because, again, I had no plan B. And once I figured out how to actually, manage risk and lock in with my psychology, my biggest issue, by the way, when I was unprofitable was probably the money, okay? Because again, I started out with a lot of money, okay? I started out, using a lot of my own money. I lost $35,000 of my own money. Let me say that again. So that put a ton of stress on me. And one of the biggest problems is I could never accept a loss. I always had to get my money back. It always had to be, I have to take a second trade. trade, I have to at least get break even on the day, and then it just spirals and spirals and spirals. And this was my problem for a long time. But once you put your ignorance aside and realize that this is not something that is going to happen overnight, it genuinely will start to click, and your profits will start to compound a lot quicker than you guys think. And so before the end of 2024, I ended up making the biggest purchase that I had ever made, and it is this car right here that I'm sitting in right now. It is a 2024 BMW X6M. Pretty much all of you guys already know what car I have, but I ended up getting rid of the GR86. I ended up trading in the RS3 because, again, I kind of fell out of love with the car. I was without it for so long. I also kind of wanted to go back to, that more of SUV kind of feel. Bro, genuinely, it is so insane how fast it can change when you truly, put your ignorance aside, put your head down, and do the stuff that you know you're supposed to do every single day. I mention this a lot, guys, but truly, if you're gonna take any piece of information from me, seriously, just execute every single day according to the plan, regardless of the short-term outcomes. Because yes, it is very easy to take $1,000 loss and think, okay, I have to get this back right now. I have to be a millionaire today. I need $100,000 by tomorrow. But guys, if you truly just do everything that that you're supposed to do every single day, everything will fall into place. Please trust me. I know I'm kind of like going on like side rants here, and I'm supposed to be explaining my story, but I'm truly just like, if I can instill anything on you guys, it is that screw the short-term outcomes and just stick to the process, bro. Trust the journey and trust in your system. And if you truly believe in your system and trust in your system, bro, you should not go against your plan. And so again, like, bro, I'm not even that good of a trader. Like, I want to say this too, like, I make mistakes. Like, I'm not perfect, right? Like, I'm literally not even that good of a trader, but I just have some of the best psychology out of any trader. Like, truly, I rarely, like, I truly, I don't, no, I say rarely, but I truly don't remember the last time that I've like actually, over traded or, felt FOMO and acted upon it. Like, that just doesn't happen to me anymore. It's seriously just, good risk management and, and learning from the months and months of failure, and being in the break-even phase. 2025 was originally when I started my mentorship, but I got super lazy and I ended up quitting it a month later. 2025 also went pretty well for me. I ended up making my single biggest day trading options. I made $6,000 over a fake White House tariff tweet. Actually insane. But as the year went on, options started to get a lot harder to manage. This was when Trump was first getting back into office, and yes, I was still winning, but my losses were starting to become a lot bigger than usual. Again, everything was just a lot harder to manage. Spreads on options contracts were getting a lot harder to manage. They were literally as bad as I've ever seen them, and everything was just so volatile. Now, in August of 2025, I had a ton of friends who were telling me to try out futures. And why would you switch to futures if you have made all this money on options? Well, this is what I figured. I figured that if I can leverage the same kind of concepts that I'm using trading options to trading futures, why would I not give that a try? Also, using prop firms, I could still make this around the same amount of money, but without risking my own capital. And, I basically just thought, if worse things come to worst, I'm up already pretty good on the year. I'm going to take a little break from trading options and, let me give futures a try. What could go wrong? And so I gave it a shot. I bought two 50K evaluations from Top Step, and these two evaluations were literally just about me figuring out on, how the rules worked, the consistency rule, the profit target, all that stuff. And I ended up getting a $2,000 payout on those accounts. My first ever payout literally came from my first ever evaluations. And that just goes to show, like, guys, I'm not even that good of a trader, I promise you. It's literally just psychology, risk management, and sticking to the plan regardless of the outcomes. I'm gonna keep saying this until it is all that you remember me for. Thought of me making $2,000 from an initial $100 investment was absolutely insane to me. The ROI was nothing like options. And again, at the time, still trading continuations, still leveraging the same systems that I used with options, just trading futures. And I can't really say that I've had any, problems that a lot of futures traders can, relate to, like blowing accounts, constantly cycling through evals like crazy. I can't really relate to that, I'm sorry. But what I did was I simply just put aside the short-term outcomes, showing up every single day. I literally have not taken a single day off of trading since I first started back in 2023. And at this point, I can tell you that I have rinsed Top Step for over 6 figures in payouts. And I now have 10 accounts, 5 with Top Step, 5 with Lucid, and I plan on getting max allocation on more firms in the future. I'm gonna be scaling. I plan to scale like crazy this year. I'm gonna make an insane amount of money, and I can guarantee that simply because I know that I can stick to a set of rules, I can stick to my system, I can stick to my plan, and that through the losses, I will not waver, I will not, break my rules, doing all of the little things right, putting me in the best positions to succeed. That is what you guys need to do, is skip everything else, okay? Realize that it's not going to be a given. You guys are not going to make money within your first year in trading, okay? I'm just gonna say that right now. If you do, it is a pure miracle. Say to yourself that you're not gonna make money in your first year of trading, and genuinely put your head down and find a system, stick to it, and enjoy the rewards and benefits later, man, because truly, trading is the hardest thing that you will ever do, okay? Do not get me wrong. But once you figure it out, it becomes so easy and boring. Trading is lit, bro. I wake up and trading is the most boring part of my day. I get up, I trade, and I go on about my day. It does not affect my mood for the entire day. It's literally probably 10% of how my day goes. And I'm sure there's people gonna be saying, oh, what about the money from your mentorships, bro? My mentorship is so small. My inner circle and everything is literally so small. I just started it back up again this January. It was simply about me realizing that I had no backup plan and going all in with trading, but not taking myself out of the game too soon. I almost did with options. I literally almost went completely in debt. I almost lost all of my money with options at the beginning, but I learned to, stop being so ignorant and realizing that it's not a given. I'm not going to become a millionaire by tomorrow. And again, just putting my head down and realizing that anything is possible, truly, if you put your mind to it, man. I'm, looking back at everyone that's laughed at me, everyone that's ever doubted me. I am laughing in their face right now because I did everything that they said that I couldn't do. Again, I graduated high school with a 1.3 GPA. It should literally make you angry that a kid like me is able to make 6 figures in a year at the age of 20. It genuinely should fire you up. Like, bro, look at this car. Look at this car that I bought at the age, I actually bought this at the age of 19, but obviously I'm 20 right now. Look at this car, bro. Like, I'm genuinely so grateful. I'm so blessed. And yes, I know there are probably people in worse situations than me. I wasn't necessarily ever broke in my life. There are most definitely people who have gone through way worse struggles than I have, but with the cards that I was dealt, I played them to the best of my ability. Yes, I suffered in the beginning, but I eventually turned it into something that is going to supplement my life for the rest of my life, because I took the risk while I was young, and that's what a lot of kids are afraid to do nowadays. Everyone's too okay with being comfortable. No one likes taking risks, and when it gets hard, they quit, and they're not willing to actually see it through and stick to the journey. Anyway, though, guys, I kind of went on a run in the field. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Truly do realize that anything is possible if you truly put your mind to it and you truly stick to the process and stick to the grind no matter what happens. You truly cannot fail if you don't quit. Listen to me again. You cannot fail if you do not quit. There is no failure unless you quit. Anyway, though, guys, let me stop. I appreciate you for watching this video. It was probably a little bit of a longer one, but if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you guys subscribe. If you guys need help with trading, send me a DM on Instagram. The link will be down below. And if you want to apply to work with me, you can in the top link in the description. And once again, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.